Order.
Madam Speaker, can I put to the Prime Minister that what is absolutely outrageous is where the Commission is able to sit, the Commissioner's report will be ready on Monday, the Members of Parliament concerned want the report to be published. What is absolutely outrageous is not to let them have the time even to try. And if he continues to stonewall, people will believe that the reason is not technicalities or can't, it is won't.
The right honourable gentleman is still quoting selectively from what I said. I made it clear that although I wished to see the report published speedily, and I did, that this was a matter for Gordon Downey, and he would have to take the time he needed to deal with the matter properly. Perhaps his task would have been easier if some people hadn't delayed handing over important evidence, but that was not the government's fault. The fact of the matter is that this needs to be dealt with impartially, not in an atmosphere where it could be selectively leaked to damage people who may have nothing whatsoever to hide. The right honourable gentleman had no interest in this on Monday. He had no interest in this on Tuesday. He only had an interest when he had the unemployment figures leaked to him to try and hide what is actually happening. This is a matter that needs dealing with fairly in the interests of the members concerned, not in the way the right honourable gentleman wishes to deal with it. What he wishes is to let a smear stand, not let justice be done in its own time.
Mr. Speaker, justice demands this report be published. That is what justice demands. And I simply say to him, any members of the public watching that interchange will conclude he simply does not want it published because he fears its publication. Madam Speaker, has this Parliament not ended as it began, by a government? Yes. It has ended as it began, by a government breaking its word. Yeah. And can I say to the Prime Minister, if he fails to have this report published when everyone knows that he could, it will leave a stain on the character of his government that will only be erased by a new government with a fresh mandate that will restore confidence in our public life for good.
The stain, if stain there will be, is upon a Labour front bench that have smeared and smeared and smeared again. The Labour leader has traded in double standards from the moment he took up office. This is the Labour leader who sells policy to the trade unions for cash, who refuses to comply with the code of practice on party funding, who calls for party openness but won't publish the secret funds of his own office, who attacks share options but takes money from millionaires for his own party, who attacks businessmen and asks them to fund things for him, who flew Concorde and failed to declare it, who has a deputy leader who spends a weekend at a five-star hotel and doesn't declare it, and who flies to the other side of the world to do newspaper deals and never admits to them. If there's any double standards, they sit there on the opposition benches.
Tories standing up, waving their order papers, approving of that exchange from Mr. Major.
I'd like to hear the next question and the next answer. Mr. Churchill.
Madam Speaker, may I, before taking what I hope is only temporary leave of this House, thank my right honourable friend and his government on behalf of my Manchester constituents for making this country, the UK, the best functioning economy of all of Europe. With half the levels of unemployment of France or Germany. His Is it not precisely because those two countries have not had the benefit of a Thatcher major revolution that they are suffering from what in the Labour Party days used to be known as the British disease?
Mr. Jesuit, they're standing at the election because of boundary changes.
Madam Speaker, before I respond to my honourable friend, may I say that I noticed when I last sat down that my right honourable friend, the member for Westmoreland, is back in the House following this dreadful accident. May I say, Madam Speaker, that my right honourable friend will be retiring at the end of this Parliament, but he will leave behind him reforms to our procedures in this place that have greatly improved the workings of our House. I'm delighted to see my right honourable friend here, and I wish him a speedy and a full return to complete health.
That's Michael Joplin.
To my honourable friend, let me say I agree with him about the economic condition. We now have more jobs, better education, improving health, falling crime. That is our achievement. While the Labour Party spends their time trying to disown their past, I spend my time improving our country's future.
Mr. Paddy Ashdown.
Madam Speaker.
Order! This House must come to order. All sides.
Madam Speaker, we did raise this matter on Tuesday, and I am raising it again now. Can I bring the Prime Minister back to the central question, which is this, that there is now clearly both provision and precedent to give this House the opportunity to clear up the Cash for Questions scandal once and for all next week, if the Prime Minister wishes it. But he doesn't. Now, Sir Gordon Downey regrets that. The Committee on Standards and Privileges regrets that. His own honourable members, who still are under a suspicion of sleaze, regrets that. And the nation as a whole, no doubt, deeply resents that. Is the Prime Minister now to be the only person who will use a technicality to stand in the way of truth? And if he does, then he should not be surprised that those in the country will conclude that he enters the election as he conducted his administration, on a broken promise, on a slippery evasion, and with his party mired in accusations of sleaze.
Well, the right honourable gentleman ends as pious and pompous as he's been throughout this Parliament. If what he said were correct, why did not his member on the committee actually ask for what the right honourable gentleman asked for he did not? Why did not the Labour members of the committee ask for what the right honourable gentleman asked for they did not. This has been a political stunt by the right honourable gentleman and the leader of the Liberal Party, and they both know it has been a political stunt from the moment they learned what the unemployment figures were.
So Mr. Major leaves the chamber. Conservatives stand up. General acclamation for his performance. The order papers waved. And now we have a point of order. There's going to have a little trouble getting his word in edgeways because of all the MPs leaving the chamber.